Well, here we go again. So I thought what I'd do in this video, something rattling on my desk. Who cares? Yeah, what I thought I'd do in this one would be to update pfSense. I haven't done this for a while, and I thought I'd just run through how I do it, primarily because I'm on pfSense Plus. So what I'm going to do is show you the two ways of doing it for pfSense Plus and pfSense CE, the way we'll get into it. There are two main ways of updating pfSense, or at least that I can see. There's two ways of doing this to accomplish the same thing. I'm going to show you both ways because in pfSense Community Edition CE, you don't have access to boot environments like you do in pfSense Plus, which is what I'm running here. So I'm going to be swapping around. Choose the one that you're on. If you're on Plus, it's unfortunately going to be using your terminal or SSH access, whichever one. You can do it through the GUI because there is a let's see where it is. Yeah, there's shell command, but it's not an SSH way of doing it. So let's have a quick look. Yeah, is there, before I do that, I don't think there is, but is there a package that adds SSH from the GUI? Probably not. That's all the ones installed, available. I have a funny feeling today is going to be another one of them days. Okay, so there is no package for SSH. Right, so what I'm going to do, so this is pfSense CE. It's going to be a bit difficult to do both, but I'll try and show you. So if I go to my terminal, I've logged in. Let's open a shell, which is number 8, or at least it is on here. Okay, we have that. Let me just check something. Okay, so from my terminal, now I'm going to do it here for now, and then I'll swap back to pfSense Plus GUI. So bectl create -e. Actually, let's just check what's there first. ctl, is it list? Okay. So there you'll see that I have one boot environment ready, and it's called 25.07 in use, and it's marked as the next reboot. Right, okay, so bectl create -e, and it would be 25.07 in use, and then give it a new name of pre. So if I now list them now, I have two. So the reason I called it pre is pre-update. Now, if I go to, well, that's interesting. Okay, right, so as you can see, it's waiting to be updated. Now, if I go to my boot environments, it's only got one listed. Interesting, why is that? That's interesting. Right, let's create it in here. So we're gonna copy, clone, and what we'll do is we'll call it pre, but instead of an underscore, we'll give it a hyphen, so it's different to the one that's already there. And then let's list what's going on. That's really strange. Okay, I think for purposes of this video, we'll just do it for pfSense Plus. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think I know why. Ooh, let me have a quick look. Okay, let's try that again. Let's get rid of the E. Why is it only 8K? And the other one is 32. That's really strange. That's really strange. There's no version there. Yeah, that's a bit strange. Let's go back to our boot environments. Let's get rid of that one. So it's the underscore that we don't want. Let's forget our terminal for now. Because for some reason, it doesn't want to work properly. So for now, we're just going to concentrate on pfSense Plus. Let's So this is the one I just created in here. So let's start again. Never straightforward. Right, boot environment. Clone a boot environment. Let's call it pre with a hyphen. Clone from. All right, there we go. So we've got a boot environment, there we go, of 2507 in use pre, and it's cloned from the one that's actually in use. And there's the version number. So we've got that set up. Let's scroll down to update, and it's a release candidate. Look at that. It's currently using a beta, now it's using a release candidate. Let's do it. Everything else will stop working when I do this. So this will take a few minutes to actually do. I'm going to leave it in real time to see how long it takes. It's fetching a kmod, Nexus, the repo, the kernel and the base. There we go. Rebooting in 10. See, the good thing about this, and I wish that FreeBSD would put something like this into the way they do things, is that this actually copies the bootloader as well, so you can't really go wrong. See what I mean? It mounts the ESP partition and puts it in there, and then copies the old one there, which is good. I like that. So I know it's rebooted. We still have internet access, which is good. And there we go. So it's now upgraded, and it should have done all the packages as well. It'll be a while before everything is up and running. Radius D always seems to take a while for some reason. There we go, it's done the packages as well, but we'll double check that. Yep, all done. So, to recap, create that boot environment. It will then create one when it's about to update, which is really good. So you've got two there, you've got your failsafe and the one that's in use. Now, I'm pretty sure that it's not 2507 anymore, is it? It is 2507 RC. So I'm gonna rename the current boot environment. That's just what I do. And then I use that as the description. There we go. And that's the update done. So if I now go back, hopefully, Radius D is running. There we go. Everything looks good. Gold Enterprise D. Yeah, so there we go. Fairly simple. Let's recap. Clone the boot environment. Give it a nice and easy name, because when and if you get caught out, activating it will be much easier if it's got a short name, trust me. Plugging in a keyboard and mouse to one of these devices and boot into it so that you can change it. Anyway, once you've done that, give it a name, give it a description, and go to your update. Now, the update won't be there now, but interestingly, I'm running a newer version. Oh, it does that sometimes. Do the upgrade, and then you're done. It really is quite simple. Now, when I've figured out how to do it from the command line, I will come back and redo the video. But for now, we'll leave it there. It's all running, all good. See you in the next video. There's smeggage going on there. Anyway, right.